I've read countless books during my homeschooling years, and they've taught me more about life than public school ever could. Hey YouTube, my name's Obina, and I am a homeschool teen, and today I'm going to share with you some of the books that I've read throughout my homeschooling journey. And I feel like each of these books that I'm about to describe to you now has really shaped some part of me in one way or another. And honestly, some of the information in these books, I don't know what I would do without it. Let's get straight into it. So I have right here, I think this is 7 books? Yeah, 7 stacks of books that I read throughout my homeschooling journey, and I'm here to share all of them with you. And they've really shaped me in one way or another, but some of them I just read for fun again, and some of them has really helped me build key skills, both in business, mindset, and a better perspective on life. The first book is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And to be honest, I found it really boring at first because I didn't want to know about like the mind, and there was these things about the cerebellum, limbic brains. Like I didn't want to go deep into that. But as I kept reading it, this book really changed my mind around stress and addiction, because in this book, it talks about how our brains can perceive stress and addiction as being in survival mode. And while you're in survival mode, your heart palpitates, your breathing becomes more rapid, you start to feel anxious, as if there was this predator, a lion, chasing after you. And that's what really helped us survive back then. That kind of fear and anxiety around, oh, there's a present danger in our environment. That's what helped us back then to survive and get to where we are right now. But in this present day, what do we really need that anxiety and adrenaline for? We don't have to survive like how we did back then. But these stress responses, like being stressed out and feeling burnt out, our brain does not perceive the same difference. And Joe Dispenza says that our brain and our nervous system does not see the difference between being stressed out and having heart palpitations and being fearful of something, and between the fear of a lion or an active predator in danger chasing after you. And the only difference is the fact that after we're done with the lion, our brain returns to a regular state of mind and our body calms down. But if we're constantly stressed over and over and over again, that type of stress and being in that high beta state can actually cause health issues later on. So I found that to be really interesting. Like stress alone can literally make you sick. The thoughts in your head, fear, and how does that make you sick? And it's because it activates that nervous system response that isn't really supposed to always be on. It's supposed to just be on to save you from a present danger. But we're just activating it through our thoughts alone. So I feel like this book really touched on that aspect of how thoughts can lead to sickness, and how if you're not in an environment that you really could thrive in or at least calm yourself down in, how it could make you sick. So this book really touched on that aspect as well. And I would recommend it to anyone who wants to read it. I'll leave it in the description below. And the second set of books I've read throughout my homeschooling journey was, I don't know if you guys are gonna guess this, but Harry Potter. And right now in my hands I have the 3rd book, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, and I think it's the 6th book, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. So 2 really good books from the series. And growing up, Harry Potter was like something I've heard about many times, but I never really got into reading it until I was like around 9th and 10th grade. And I would say it wasn't really the inspiration or the reason we started writing this novel, but it really gave us like a lot of ideas and helped us grow our world even more. Realizing that, oh, Harry Potter's world is also big, and it's just big from words on a page. From words on a page, you can create a whole nother world that is separate from reality. And when I started reading the books for the first time, I found it actually kind of addicting, not just because of like the long pages, but I felt like through every single beat in the story, Harry kept developing himself as a character, as a wizard. He kept growing throughout the course of the book. Between his Quidditch matches, if you know about Harry Potter, the spells he would use, the friends and allies he would make along the way, as well as the dangers he would face. And I felt like through each year of the series, his development became much more mature. And I really like how J.K. Rowling sort of made the books grow up with both the audience and Harry at the same time. And after reading the books, I also started watching the movies. With the movies, I feel like they're just as good as the books. I don't know. It just feels like they should be two separate things. Like if Harry Potter just went with the movies by itself, it could be its own type of franchise on its own. And I feel like the books does carry its own type of weight. I would say my favorite book cover of Harry Potter would be this one that I have in my hand. But I would say my favorite book would be either the fourth one or the seventh one. Basically, the fourth and seventh book were like climaxes to the whole series in some way, and key moments within the series themselves. Like you can't just skip those books. So yeah, I really enjoyed Harry Potter as a leisure read. I think the ending was really good. I know some people find it controversial, but I enjoyed the book for the most part. I like the development of all the characters. They really popped out of the page when I started reading them. And yeah, it was just an overall great series and a good read. And of course, I would recommend it. And the next one is one of my personal favorites, and it mostly has something to do with the mind and tactics to kind of manipulate people into getting them to do what you want to do. It sounds crazy, but trust me, it's fine. And the next book is Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion. And I feel like if you want to really learn about not only just sales tactics, but ways to kind of influence people into liking you, or ways to gain trust with people, or to get them to do what you want in like a general sense. This book is really great at explaining all the tactics. And it lists several rules in this book and several tactics that can help you influence people. Like reciprocation, which is basically like if you give someone something, they'll be inclined to give you something back. You do a favor for someone, they'll feel inclined to do a favor for you back. So that's one influence tactic. Another one is social proof. If people see a bunch of people doing the same thing, they'll feel inclined to do the same thing too. Like let's say there's like a bunch of people running from a threat that you can't see. Even though you don't see the threat yourself, you're going to feel inclined to run with them. And another rule is authority, which basically means that if someone of authority says something to be true, like a doctor or a scientist from NASA, or just someone of high status says that something is true, we're more inclined to believe them and be influenced by that person. And this could even be celebrities too. So like going through this book many times, it makes it seems kind of crazy and weird, like why you're trying to manipulate people. But the book is actually quite interesting because this is something that everyone can be influenced by. And it's actually important to know these influence tactics ahead of time and see how they could be used on you. Like, does the news try to say that, oh, because the scientist said this, it's automatically considered as true? Shouldn't you probably do your own research on that subject? Or maybe, okay, a bunch of people are in a trend. Does that mean it's actually a good thing to do? So it's like, kind of see these tactics ahead of time to protect yourself, so you're not influenced into doing something you may not want to do. And I feel like this book can be used to, yes, influence people, but learn how not to get influenced into doing something wrong as well. So I would definitely recommend this book. So now the final book that I want to mention from my homeschooling journey is the book called Think and Grow Rich. And while the title does say, yes, think and grow rich, and it does teach you some of the ways you can grow rich, most of its teachings are centered around the mindset of having a healthy and wealthy money mindset. So it doesn't just teach the tangibles, it also teaches the mindset parts that will lead you to success in the long run. So that's why this one is one of my personal favorites. I read Think and Grow Rich throughout my 10th grade year with my siblings, and we jotted notes through each of the subjects it would talk about, and we had discussions around each of the rules of becoming rich, which was mostly tied around mindset and just having a positive outlook on money. And one of the rules in it was persistence. I don't know if you can see it right here. Persistence. And in persistence, it talks about how you must keep going and never give up in order to reach your money goals, right? So even if you're met with failure multiple times over, you have to still keep going in order to obtain success. Learn from those mistakes and just keep going. So we would have constant discussions around it. It was mostly our study book that we used for like the first semester of my 10th grade year. And I feel like separate from all the other personal development books, it's like it touches on success in a general sense, not just success in influence or success in breaking certain habits like the other books I've shown you. It touches on not just success in like monetary values, but success in general, so success in any arena that you want to go into. So I would highly recommend Think and Grow Rich because of all the variety of aspects it touches upon, not just in money. But I feel like if you're going to get into like the entrepreneur journey, I think Think and Grow Rich is definitely a great book to start in because it's going to fix your mindset into how you perceive money. Don't just see it as like a means for survival. See it as a tool that can also help other people thrive. And so that was the biggest lesson I learned from Think and Grow Rich. This book, I think, was the biggest shifter in terms of how I saw money and how I can obtain more money through following the principles inside this book. So I would definitely highly recommend this one. It was a fun read. It was a great discussion with me and my siblings when we read it for the first time. And I think me and my family went back in a previous meeting and then we started rereading it again. But it's like worth rereading like 100 times over, I think, because it kind of reinforces the idea of, okay, money is available so long as you put yourself in the right mindset to obtain it. So I would say this was a pivotal book, not just in my homeschooling journey, but my entrepreneurial one too. So again, I highly recommend this book and I'll leave the link to it in the description. And those were the top books I've read throughout my homeschooling journey. I hope some of them captivated you, and if you know some of them and have your own thoughts about each of the book, please leave them in the comment section below. Let me know in the future if you want me to talk about more books that I've read. Maybe you might want to know some fiction books I usually read, or maybe more personal development books. It would help if you would leave a comment to tell me what you want me to talk about in terms of homeschool book reading. Because I feel like books can be an easy way to digest information. It doesn't just have to be from media alone. I feel like reading a good book and seeing what someone wrote down on a page can also be a great way to digest information. Because it's like you're reading off of an expert's thoughts. They put their thoughts down in the book. Sometimes it might not just come out on video alone. So I would say I like reading for that reason. It's like reading a person's mind, if you would. So yeah, but that's the end of this video. And please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And tell me in the future if you want me to discuss more books that I've read throughout my homeschooling years. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.